Uhuru! Uhuru! Uhuru is a Swahili word that means freedom, and it breathed life into Africans both abroad and here at home. Because wherever you were born, if you've got melanin, you're African. Uhuru! Welcome everybody to our ALD celebration. That's African Liberation Day. And we are liberating in our minds, but we're going to get liberated physically in our lifetime. Uhuru! All right, my name is Fofi Ushairi El Kibulan, and I am one of your hosts today, along with my comrade Kumba Niachia. All right, today is African Liberation Day. What does that mean? Kumba will let you know. Uhuru, we are expecting to have a great celebration. This is a celebration, not just a day of poetry, not just a day of music, but a day of education, African education, and we are, just enjoy, but keep your ears open so you can learn. And that goes for you too online. We are here and we're going to hope that you are along here, because you know what? We got some fire poets, and you know what? Everybody learn from their experience. They learn from their experience, and as a poet or wordsmith, we give it to you. We give it to you. Lightning, fire, thunder, we got it all coming today, comrades. All day. All right. And the reason we celebrate is because it's African Liberation Day. And that has special meaning, which my comrade here will bring to you. Uhuru! Uhuru! First of all, I would like for you all to please stand. We're going to do the African National Fight Song written by our own comrade. You know what? I don't have a thing. Okay, the words will be right here, and you can sing along. Please sing along. Big breath and let it out. Uhuru! Uhuru! We are winning. We'll dance and sing songs till revolution's won. We are winning. Africa's best daughters and sons. We are winning. White power, the parasite. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. One drop gasoline. We are winning. Who lay that? Who lay that? We are winning. We will rejoice till the colonizers die. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Freedom to organize this world, our creation. One billion strong, yes, we are one. We are winning. Like many and Malcolm too. We are winning. Remember our struggle, always be true. We are winning. From Harlem to Brazil, to Tanzania, we are winning. Fight and live for a free Africa. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Freedom to organization. Socialist world, our creation. 1 billion strong, yes, we are one. We are winning. It's the woman's life, we won't be vain. We are winning. Keep up the word in Marcus Garvey's name. We are winning. Independent and free is what we will be. We are winning. Africa will dance in our victory. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Organization, socialist world, our creation. 1 billion strong, yes, we are one. We are winning. We are winning. We are winning. Uhuru! Uhuru! You know we make it through. Now I would like to bring to you our comrade Kumba to bring us our political education. Uhuru.
Fist up!
Fight back!
Fist up!
Fight back!
One Africa!
One nation!
One nation!
One Africa!
That's what it's about. Uhuru. Once again, we want to welcome everyone here to African Liberation Day in the city of St. Louis. We're going to battle through the storm on so many levels. And we just want to appreciate, first of all, the St. Louis African community and others who have came to the, give it up, who came to the rescue of its own people without the city government involvement, without the city telling us, your alderman telling us we had to come out here and help ourselves. The African community in the city of St. Louis has showed up and showed out and going to continue to do that. And of course, we know that we don't necessarily want to politicize what is going on inside the community because it is a very sensitive and touchy situation. But we know that the city of St. Louis has been left in despair consciously. We often talk about the Team 4 plan, but we understand the colonial mode of production is nothing more than the mode of production that oppresses the colonized people. And in the condensed neighborhoods, you will never find any relief through them, and so you got to do it for yourself. So everybody need to stand up and give the city of St. Louis African North Side another rounding applause, because we stood up and we did the damn thing. Uhuru, once again. Touch what? Touch what? One Africa. One nation. Oh, that's what it's about. So the 14th point of the 14-point platforms from the African People's Socialist Party is the last point of the 14 points. These points were adopted in 1981 in September at the First Party Congress. And the 14th point, it begins: we want the total liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African socialist government. We believe that the total liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African socialist government must be the primary objective of all black revolutionaries throughout the world. It is an objective which, when achieved, will bring about the fulfillment and aspirations of Africans and people of African descent everywhere. It will at the same time advance the triumph of the international socialist revolution and the onward progress towards communism, under which every society is ordered on the principle of from each according to his, her ability, to each according to his, her needs. That is a sentiment of none other than Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of independent Ghana in Africa. So, when you think about what was just read, obviously there should be some main ideas that's going in your mind, and you should be really consolidating this information. And we want to help, just kind of bring that out. The primary objective of black revolutions around the world must be simply the total liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African socialist government. Why is that important? Why is that necessary? We know that as African people, we've been scattered, dispersed throughout the world, and we're in more than 113 countries. We come from the continent of Africa as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. This we know predominantly. And then, since we are coming from the continent of Africa, we got off the boat as Africans. We still are Africans today. We didn't change. When we was born on boats, we weren't fish. We weren't little canoes. We were still Africans, right? So once we hit the shores of Virginia in 1619, we remained Africans. Therefore, consciously, we know that all African peoples, whether they're born in Canada, whether they're born in the Caribbean, anywhere in the Caribbean, whether they're born on the north side of St. Louis, Brazil, Chicago, Azania, or what? One African people. Is that not right? Uhuru! Okay, now listen, there's no disunity with that, right? All right, okay, we in unity. Okay, good deal. So also you got to understand that, looking at some main points, when this is achieved, it will fulfill the aspirations around the world. Marcus Garvey talked about this a long time ago, even Malcolm X. Once Africa is united, liberated, and freed, there is nothing that can happen to us in the world where an organized Africa cannot come to the salvation of our people. Say, for example, what happened here in the city of St. Louis, or even what happened when they bombed Philadelphia with the move, when it came to raid the chairman, when it came to raid the South Side, solidarity, things of that nature. If Africa had been solid, unified, and socialist, if a brother or sister anywhere in the world cries out, Mama Africa, Papa Africa, come to what? Your rescue. That's because it'll be an organized, the unified, socialist Africa. When it's at that point, we ain't got to worry about all this. We'll be able to come in and send plane loads of whatever resources, wherever we are, and we clean up our own neighborhoods because it's one unified Africa. Is that not right?
That is right.
Okay. Uhuru, no objections there. You understand the main point. So moving it forward a little bit, the total liberation of Africa will also advance the international socialist revolution and onward progress towards communism on the principle of from each according to his or her ability to each according to his or her needs. So once Africa is freed and unified and socialist and organized, it shows an example into the world. You understand? Of course, when we talk about the independence movement on the continent of Africa, it sparked other independence movements throughout the world. And of course, we know on the day of independence when Ghana became independent and free, Martin Luther King was there. Martin Luther King was sitting with Kwame Nkrumah, and he got inspiration. Of course, Ghana got its independence mainly at nonviolence, and so it kind of trickled, spilt over there with Martin Luther King. But Martin Luther King was on the continent of Africa, and he was observing what was going on, and it would help to inform him later, we are sure, of his consciousness in terms of the direction that he needed to get to eventually, as it did other revolutionaries throughout the world. So once again, Africa was a beacon to the world for what it did. So we also know that the independence struggle that was going on the continent of Africa and throughout the world is something that sparked the Bandung Conference in 1955. So touch one, touch one. That's what happened when we fight against colonialism. Once the colonized is touched and the colonizer touches the colonized, it's touching all, not just one. Okay, so got a couple of questions. We're going to throw those questions out, and we do have, just so you know, a little bit later or throughout the program, everybody has a raffle ticket, and we will be raffling off certain prizes for everyone. So read out the question, you raise your hand, and you should have the answer to it because you know these main points. The primary objective, question one, the primary objective of all black revolutionaries throughout the world is A, a creation of a new African nation in the Black Belt South, a multinational worker state, the liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African socialist government, or is it D, to create multiple independent African states within the current existing borders? You got your hand up. What is it? A? Let's try that again. So A says that the creation of a new African nation in the Black Belt South. We're going to come back around to that. Unfortunately, A is not the right answer. Got another try? Go ahead, give it another try. So you got it. C, Uhuru, give it up for the young comrades. All right. So C is the liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African socialist government. That is correct. That is the primary objective of all black revolutionaries throughout the world. It should be, it ought to be, it will be if it's not. Number two, the question is, the establishment of an all-African socialist government will advance the triumph of the international socialist revolution and onward progress towards. Read that question once again. The establishment of an all-African socialist government will advance the triumph of the international socialist revolution and the onward progress towards A, anarchy, B, black supremacy, C, utopia, or D, communism. Okay, Comrade Ciali, what you think the answer is? D. D? D. What did you say? D. 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 D is correct. Give it up for Comrade. Oh. All right, thank you very kindly. And number three, the last question is, communism is a global system under which every society is ordered by, number three, once again, communism is a global system under which every society is ordered by A, every man for himself. Watch out for yourself. Ain't nobody else going to do it. From each other according to ability, to each according to the need. C, teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. Or D, eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. And so the correct response is B. B. Communism is a global system under which every society is ordered by B, from each according to the ability to each according to need. So that there ends our political education. We want to thank everyone for that. And remember, we do have these raffles going on. So throughout the program, Comrade, you want me to do anything? Pull one? Okay. So right now, we're just going to pull a ticket out, and everybody should have their ticket. And reading from the last three numbers, we have 024. That's 024. Oh, the winning ticket is right here, close by the front. All right, here you go, comrade. Woo! One Africa. One nation. Uhuru. So that is done. Just get you. Okay. All right. So right now we're going to continue moving on with the program, and okay, comrade, 4 feet, and then I might as well stay here.
Yeah. I want to say a special welcome to our chairman, Omali Yeshatel is in the house. Uhuru! You will hear from him in time. And now I have this comrade behind me with he should have his thinking hat on, because you know what? He knows some stuff. This is Comrade Kaumba with the call to ALD. Uhuru.
Uhuru. So this is a call for African Liberation Day, but just a little bit about that. You know, African Liberation Day was formed in 1963. It came out of a conference in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. It was also the time that the Organization of African Unity formed. The formation of the Organization of African Unity was basically a compromise between the two types of blocks. On one hand, you had the Monrovia group, and then on the other hand, you had the Casablanca group. Kwame Nkrumah was spearheading this drive. Kwame Nkrumah was calling for nothing less than one Africa, one nation, par excellence, bar none. Understanding that during this time of independence, every African leader wasn't on board with that. So in order to save face somewhat, so to speak, the compromise made people at least pay lip service to saying that they wanted unification. They wanted a unified Africa. So the groups, one wanted to move slow as a snail. Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, and some others out of Mali, they wanted to step their foot on the colonizers right now and get this thing over with. And that was the right way to be. But to save face, in order to keep unity in front and before the people, and to speak to unity, that compromise was formed. And now we have an iteration of it today called the African Union. The African Union. But it's by no means revolutionary. It's by no means talking about socialism. And by no means is it serious about unifying the continent of Africa. So we want to make sure that's clear. And you can study up on the formation of African Liberation Day as you will. So here's the call. This call comes from the African People's Socialist Party for 2025. The call to attend African Liberation Day. So on May 25th, 2025, the African People's Socialist Party is sponsoring an African Liberation Day event to forward the struggle for global black self-determination during this time of crisis for the white power colonial system that has given birth by our enslavement and forced dispersal to every corner of the world. This is an historical moment that has caused great anxiety for much of the world, including those who pose as black leaders, since the assassinations of such towering figures as Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Patrice Lumumba, and Kwame Nkrumah. However, we are not afraid. We are determined to continue building a life for our people that is not determined by which person or party occupies a seat of power in Washington, D.C., or any other White House dominated colonial seat of power. We will not be deterred in our historically determined mission to live as free people. We adopted May 25th, 1972 as the founding day of our party, that is the African People's Socialist Party. On July 29th, 2022, our party was violently violently attacked by armed forces of the U.S. government because of our work to complete the Black Revolution of the 1960s that caused the colonizer to tremble with such fear that they threw off all pretext of democracy and civil rights and made mass jailings and political assassinations a common occurrence during that time period. We are still here. Uhuru. The struggle of our people continues here in the U.S., in Europe, South America, the Caribbean, Africa, and the world. We have no compromise. We have not compromised. We have not surrendered. We are calling on you to step forward and participate in this historical African Liberation Day event that will contribute to our ability to secure the future of ourselves and our children by achieving self-determination, the power of self-government. We are actively engaging in the process of constructing a world without colonial domination. No surrender!
No compromise!
No surrender!
No compromise!
And that is till it's won. Uhuru. That is the statement from the African People's Social Party.
Thank you, Comrade Kumba.
Uhuru.
Yes. And now, it's my pleasure. We're gonna celebrate, okay? We're not just gonna sit here and we're gonna celebrate because this is the birth of our African Liberation Day. And that means we are going to work and rejoice and have a great time because guess what? We're gonna be liberated in my lifetime. And I am not young, okay? So it's gonna be soon.
Okay,
our
man.
first artist, I want to thank all of these artists for answering the call when I asked them to be a part of this celebration. And I did say it's a celebration. We're going to party. We're going to build because we're building here in St. Louis due to the tornado on the 16th of May. But we've been building here for over 600 years. We've been building for other people, not for ourselves.
What you said.
And we found out that we are here to build for ourselves because without us, there is no building.
Right.
Okay? And we're going to have some great poetry and music and expressions today of what African liberation is to each and every one of us. And we will start with this wonderful young lady. Her name is, let me get my yeah, she's an enchanted empress, but I need to tell you a little bit about her. Your real name? Yeah. Told you I was old.
But in your lifetime.
Yeah, my lifetime. That's right. Okay. And now I would like to bring you ancestral healing vibrations and a deep tissue release sound bath drumming by the Enchanted Empress. Uhuru!
Thank you. So today, I am going to play a song. Everybody knows about my good thing, and I think this is a great thing that we're doing here today. So we can party. Let's get it.
All right. Yeah.
All right now. Okay.
tell you something. You know, we all have passion, we all have talents, and we all have gifts. If you don't know what it is, then just wait, it'll come. This young lady, she taught herself. What you've heard is how resilient African people are. She taught herself. And guess what? She's still learning.
Yes.
And I want to thank her for being a part of this. Woo-hoo! You want to do it? Okay. Last three numbers. Raffle. The number is 025.
That was my ticket, but I don't know what happened to it. Oh, okay. Bingo.
Comrade back there with the cap. All right. You know, we need to shake these up. All right. Now, comrades, I want to tell you, if you're in the back and you're looking for a seat, it's some right up here. Okay. Okay. Now, our next comrade coming up to share the celebration with us is our own comrade. Let me read you his bio. Okay, he is a storyteller originally from Minneapolis. He was a member of Black Theater Alliance and has shared stories in schools in both St. Louis and in East St. Louis, and he is a member of St. Louis InPDUM organization, Mr. Gregory Reed. Uhuru! Comrade Gregory!
Habarigani, brothers, sisters, comrades, Brother Chairman. Oh boy, it's such a pleasure to be here and have an opportunity to participate in African Liberation Day as we together struggle for our self-determination. And I thank all of you for being here. Now listen, when I was a little boy, and my cousins and I, we would get to running around the house and bumping into things, and one of the old folks would grab you by the shoulder and shake you, boy, you better straighten up and fly right. And I used to wonder, well, you know, where do these old folks come up with these sayings? You know? And as I became an older man, I found out where they got it. It seems that many years ago out there in the savannah, it was hot. I mean, the sun was blazing down, it was dry, nothing was moving on the savannah, and Brother Vulture was getting so hungry, but you know, vultures, they only eat things that are dead, and but nothing was moving, and Brother Vulture was looking around, and he looked down there on the ground and saw Brother Rabbit, and he came up with an idea. Brother Vulture flew on down there and sat next to Brother Rabbit. Habarigani, Brother Rabbit, sure is hot, ain't it? And Brother Rabbit agreed it was. He said, you know, it's nice and cool up there where I fly around. Would you like to go for a ride? And Brother Rabbit said, yeah, I want to be cool. So he jumped up on the back of Brother Vulture. Brother Vulture flapped those wings and he flew way up in the sky. And he flew in one direction and he flew in the other, and the wind just blew against him, and it was nice and cool. And finally, Brother Vulture said, you ready to go back down? And he was. So Brother Vulture took that nose and pointed it down there towards the ground. He flapped those wings faster and faster, harder and harder, closer and closer to the ground, and pulled up. And Brother Rabbit tumbled off his back and broke his neck. And Brother Vulture had breakfast. Brother Vulture said, hey, you know, this is quite a plan here. About lunchtime, he looked around and he saw Sister Turtle over there. And he flew on over there and sat down next to Sister Turtle. Ooh, Sister Turtle, sure is a hot day, isn't it? Sister Turtle agreed it was. Said, you know, it's nice and cool up there where I fly around. Would you like to go up there? Sister Turtle said, sure. She climbed up on Brother Vulture's back, and he flapped those wings, and he went way up there in the sky, and he flew in one direction, and he flew in the other direction. That cool breeze blew on him. Brother Vulture said, you know, ready to go back down? He pointed that nose of his straight towards that ground. He flapped those wings harder and harder, faster and faster. Got about that high, and he pulled on up, and Sister Turtle tumbled off and broke her shell. Now Brother Vulture had lunch. Said, man, this is a plan here. Well, sitting over there on the baobab tree was Brother Monkey. And you know, Brother Monkey, he wanted to be cool. And it was hot, but he didn't want to end up like Sister Turtle and Brother Rabbit. But it wasn't long. Brother Vulture, he flew right on over there next to Brother Monkey. Hey, Brother Monkey, sure it's hot out here, isn't it? Yeah. It's cool up there where I fly around. Would you like to go? Brother Monkey nodded, yeah. So Brother Monkey climbed up on his back. Brother Vulture flapped those wings and he went way up there in the sky. And he flew in one direction, he flew in the other direction. That cool breeze was blowing on him. He said, ready to go back down, Brother Monkey? Brother Monkey said, yeah. Vulture pointed that nose right down there on the ground. He flapped those wings harder and harder, faster and faster. Got about that high and went to pull up, and Brother Monkey wrapped that tongue right around the neck of Brother Vulture and you choking me up, I'm gonna die. Brother Monkey leaned over in Brother Vulture's ear. He said, I'll let go just as soon as you straighten up and fly right. And so you know, brothers and sisters, we have a struggle before us, and the takeaway is, how long will we have to struggle for freedom? And the answer is, as soon as America straightens up and flies right. A bargain.
Yeah.
Oh. So as everyone is coming in and you're getting your raffle tickets, know that we got we raffling. Yeah, so the next number is ending in the last three numbers. 013. 013. You missed it by that much, didn't you? 013. Going once. Oh no, it's too late. Next. All right, the winner's right up here. Comrade Kabula, and I'm gonna do one more. This one ends in 021. 021. Let me see what I got. That ain't it. No one has 021? I got it. Oh, okay then. All right, yeah, okay then. All right, Uhuru. We'll pull some more a little bit later.
Oh, you celebrating now? Yeah. Oh, we just got started. We just got started. Please don't. Let me use that. Yeah, my other one is gone. All right, comrades. Now, you know we gotta outsmart people that's trying to outsmart you. When you see something, you learn from that lesson and you take it personally. And when you get the message, guess what? You can tell somebody else. They may not listen, but you can tell them. And until we unite, we will always be getting the lesson. Let's get the lesson, unite, and liberate.
Okay.
All right. My next artist up here to the stage is, let me write his. He is an educator, storyteller, DJ, traveler, drummer, poet, and writer who frequently collaborates with other service leaders, and creatives to create living room experiences. Where African diaspora people come together to fellowship in safe black space to experience and reciprocate love, peace, and happiness. And that is Comrade Salim Kenyatta right here. Uhuru. All right. Y'all look so good out there. Let me take a picture of you. Okay. All right. Yeah.
This is a two-part.
Okay.
So the first part is a song and a drum, and then I'm gonna tell stories.
Okay. That's fine. Uhuru. Right.
The word Lumba means give gratitude. That song is an old chant created by the drummers of Wawika Hills in Jamaica. That rhythm you heard is a deep Nyabingi rhythm. They would drum this rhythm for days to give thanks and praise to the ancestors, to give thanks and praise to the land, to give thanks and praise to us for being here, especially with all we have gone through in life. So it's interesting that we are celebrating African Liberation Day. And it's interesting to me because I haven't celebrated in a long time. When I was younger, half my age, and I'm pretty old, I had an elder by the name of Masani Bidiako out of Chicago. And I was a student member and a student cadre of the All African People's Revolutionary Party. And this great elder initiated me into working for the people and getting away from our ego. And these chants and these great things that we did, we didn't do just in Chicago. We took our movement all over Illinois. We took the movement to Cincinnati. We took the movement to Detroit. So it showed and proved to me that it ain't about theory only. It's also a balance between theory and practice. So that gratitude, giving thanks and praise, you give thanks and praise not only in your words, but you also give thanks and praise in your actions. So I am honoring her today because this person did so much for me. She created family for me when my family, they were not in the position to do that great thing for me. So I have a poem for her. Also, I want to thank the powerful Empress drummer. I appreciate you. And it's interesting, you said this is the first time you drum with somebody. The ancestors work in mysterious ways, and you just clicked right in. So thank you for your beautifulness and all of that. I want to also, before I even start this, I want to thank my other elder. I want to thank Deborah Fofeet for all of the work that she does in the community. This lady is a force to be reckoned with. This lady known all, oh, go ahead, give it up. You know, these are the elders that shoulders I stand on. I mean, I've been knowing this sister for about 10 to 15 years, and her work and her tireless effort in the community, I mean, it just says so appreciated. So I give thanks and praise to you, sister. All right. Since I am getting a little older, I'm going to have to put these glasses on. This poem is called On the Shoulders of Giant We Stand. I'm going to start this using a word from the Yoruba people called dobale. Dobale, I was in Nigeria 2 years ago. When you saw your elders, you would have to, kind of prostrate yourself in front of your elders to show them respect. So dobale is a way of prostrating yourself before your elders, just to show respect and to show appreciation for who they are and what they stand for. All right? Dobale is a Yoruba sign for respect. You greet your parents and your elders by laying the head and the body prostrate upon the ground in front of them. So I say dobale to my elders. Under your wings we are fed, and under your wings we are warm. Under your wings we are protected. Elders, the milk of your wisdom pours from your lips to fatten us, prepare us for life. Bittersweet is your wisdom, but it's the nectar that keeps us living. Sad is it for our youth who are neglected the nourishment of the elders' nectar. Their presence brings guidance, support, stories, life, and cultivation. They are the other mothers, the other fathers, our communal fathers and mother figures, increasing our advantages in life and decreasing our disadvantages. Rearing us and cultivating us in the growth and the process of us becoming flowers. Dobale to my elders. On your genius we stand. Evokers of ancient written spirits, master teachers and healers of ignorance, egotism, and foolishness, your magic summons great news in the souls of black folks. You are our superheroes. Dobale, my elders. We honor your wisdom, your indigo stories. We honor the sweat of your work and your glory. We honor the strength and the comfort of our warriors. Dobale, my elders. Mofari bale omo olofi, which means I prostrate myself to God and to my elders. Ibaye layen tonu, bobo egun for the working through us. which means I give all respect to my ancestors, but also my elders. Dobale, my elders, we have come this far by your faith, demonstrated by King, influenced by Gandhi. We have come this far by your hope, demonstrated by the countless black women who were mentored by God. We have come this far by faith in your charity, demonstrated by the many black men mentored by Shango. We have come this far by your sacrifice, demonstrated by Malcolm and inspired by Elijah Muhammad. We have come this far by your words, demonstrated by Maya Angelou and given to Oprah. We have come this far by your example, demonstrated by Ozzie Ruby D. Davis, mentored by the community. Dobale elders, beloved champions of divine progress, teachers of art and culture to our youth, assistants to those who need. Dobale to my ancestors. People used art as a weapon of mass upliftment, as a force to be reckoned with, as the stimulus to resurrect the memory of our most powerful form of magic and memories, of our greatness of soul in the way of our ancestors, and the way towards our wholeness. Dobale, my elders. People who use their gifts to express hurt, joy, pain, and resilience. People who use their genius to help our community find and tell stories that our legacy is our birthright, to let our caged bird sing. Dobale to my elders. Dobale to the survivors who search for love and found it in community. People who search for God and found it in our unity. Elders, your legacy will shine on because we are the heirs of your radiant light, and are used, which is used to wake us up and reclaim the purpose and arise us as the new giants. Dobale, my elders. Dobale for the work that you do to make us better, to guide us and our children forward. Dobale, my people. Dobale, my request for you guys is to check on your elders, especially because we just had a tornado last week. Me and the people have been in the community looking after these elders, supplying food, knocking on doors. This work is an ongoing tribute to these elders. If you have one, check on them. If you don't, go check on somebody, anybody, if you can, because the work is now. Dobale to my elders. Thank you.
Yeah, shake it up. Okay. Thank you, comrade. Celine. We have another, look at your tickets. Last three numbers is 029. 029. All right. All right. Another one? Oh. We have another ticket. Keep watching. 031.
Well,
Oh, come on. Come on.
Comrade Westbrook gonna get with
Yeah, he gonna get with you. All right, comrade. Another one? Oh, in here. Okay, they giving out good. Okay, the next one is 037.
Oh,
all right, comrade Westbrook.
Stay on the front line. Stay on the front row.
And the last number for right now is 032. Didn't I just call 032?
Oh, we got 032 right over here.
All right. Okay, comrades. Yeah. All right. Now, thank you for your education. Thank you for your flowers while I'm still breathing and can smell them. And I guess you're going to be on that liberation when I get there. Okay? We're going to do this together. As a union, a unit, comrades, African People's Socialist Party will get us there. All right? This is African Liberation Day, but it's our day. We're going to party. Now, my birthday is next Sunday, but I'm going to start now. Okay? This next poet is a seasoned poet and culture firebrand whose words have stirred hearts and minds across St. Louis for decades and she sings. As a flagship member of the St. Louis branch of InPDUM, she brings fire, revolutionary spirit, and unwavering commitment to Black liberation through art and words. Conrad Makeda Baraka. Come on up. Thank you. Is at the end.
I was assuming so. Y'all know Uhuru means freedom, right? Yeah. We gonna get our freedom? Yeah. Or we gonna get our freedom? Yeah. It ain't even a question. If y'all watching what's going on right now, man, when I tell you I'm excited to be Black and be here right now. I'm excited to be African, of the African diaspora right now, because this is, man, I get chills thinking about it. So this poem right here is actually it's a poem / story. It's prophetic somewhat, and it's related to the things that we see happening right now. And can y'all hear me? Okay. Yes. All right. Is that better? Yes. Okay. It's related to what's going on right now and what we can see happening, globally, not just what's happening right here, but what's right here is important, because what we're seeing is that we have always possessed the ability to show up for each other. And we have always had, we've always had that as a part of us. And there's been something that's, I'm not going to say something because that's obscuring the issue. Our colonized conditions have been the thing that have kept us, from actually participating in a certain kind of way. And we kind of individualized ourselves because we were, conditioned to be in that manner. But when the SHIT hit the fan, we remember ourselves. And I'm just proud to, be here in that move and, and see it all over the world, see it globally, see it in Africa. If y'all ain't watching Africa right now, y'all better put your eyes on Africa. I swear you need to. But this piece came out of basically, we were taught something in school. And it was, part of the liar's language, part of the colonizers' lying language. And the idea that there was a supposed right to spread their colonization everywhere. They called it manifest destiny. And what we're seeing right now, well, is their destiny being manifested. It's called The Manifest Has Come. They called it destiny, as if God whispered only in their ears, as if the stars danced for their ships alone, as if the blood of the earth begged to be spilled for their glory. Wow. But destiny is a mirror, and mirrors eventually reveal what even the mask cannot hide. Wow. They said they were discovering, but what they really did was bury, not treasure, but truth. They buried names, buried spirits, buried mothers beneath the flag, and in every grave they dug, they planted the seed of their own undoing. Wow. They thought they were writing history, but it was prophecy instead. Only they mistook the villain's hand for divine right. Their hunger was not for land, but for proof. Proof that their shadows did not follow them. Proof that their fear of irrelevance could be conquered by destruction, by making others invisible, so that they could feel real. They turned oceans into auction blocks, turned sacred burial grounds into parking lots, turned drums into silence, turned living cultures into museum exhibits, and then said, "Oh, look how far we've come." They stole brilliance and called it primitive. broke kingdoms and labeled them tribes, ripped languages from throats and replaced them with the chains and scripture. To lift themselves up, they made gods of themselves and beasts of everyone else. They lied to the ones of this nation whose roots grew deeper than any empire could imagine, offered treaties with one hand, bullets with the other. They hunted buffalo for sport and children for assimilation. Every piece of land they touched screamed, "I remember." And when they came for Africa, they didn't come for people. They came for labor, legacy, and mineral wealth. They took cultures that birthed pyramids, mathematics, medicine, and music and renamed them slave, stole resources, and exposed the rightful owners as beggars who needed rescue. An entire continent fragmented so that the West could pretend it was whole. India, too, bled beneath their boots. Silk, spices, the soul of a people drained. Brown bodies bent to pick cotton and opium, while white mouths sipped tea and called it civilized. But what they really brought was sickness, a hunger without end, a chaos with no cure, a cancer that metastasized into every corner until the world learned to ache in the same dialect with the same accent. And they taught us to hate our skin, to fear our hair, to numb our tongues and distrust our reflection, taught us that we were unworthy unless we aspired to be them. And even then, we would always be othered. But the lie is crumbling. Now, the savagery they built their world upon is breaking open. Now, the winds howl with memory, the soil rises with revolt, and the spirits they try to erase are louder than their legacy. Their machines stutter, their prophets thin, their influence like ashes in the water. They watch with trembling hands as our eyes open wide. Imperialism is coughing blood, choking on its own doctrine, swallowed by the very darkness it spread. Those who suffered, the descendants of the stolen, the silenced, the scorched, are dancing now. Because this is what destiny really looks like. Not conquest, but consequence. This is the fruit of every grave they dug. This is the storm they tried to outrun. And now, they cannot stop it. Not with law, not with bombs, not with prayers to their imagined superiority. Their destiny has arrived, and it wears no crown, builds no statue. It simply stands with all the dignity they tried to erase and watches them vanish like dust in a wind they can no longer command. Africans will unite. Uhuru!
Are y'all partying now? You know why we are here, to celebrate African liberation. And it is my honor to bring a few words from our keynote speaker, chairman, your chairman, my chairman, African Socialist Party, African People's Socialist Party Chairman, Omali Yeshitela.
Uhuru. I want to express my appreciation for the introduction from Comrade Fofi, and my appreciation to the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement here. in St. Louis. Brother Kuumba, Comrade Westbrook, and all of you who have attended this meeting. This is an extraordinary moment in time. It's our time. But we have to seize this time. I am so impressed that we are here talking about African Liberation Day and that we are here in St. Louis at this moment because we see in St. Louis right now an expression of who we are. With all that has been done to us over the centuries, the brutality, the murder, the rape, the pillage, the destruction of civilizations that we have created, which is most of them. After all of that, we are singing and dancing in this meeting right now. We look at what happened with this tornado that hit St. Louis, and this remarkable outpouring of unity from this community in dealing with the outcome of the tornado. It wasn't just unity, it's a celebration of the unity. Anybody who's been here saw how Africans were celebrating the fact that we're coming together like this. We didn't just come together, we said, wow, look at us coming together. Just an extraordinary moment with disaster all around us in terms of the attack. I am self-critical for even how the attire that I have right now. I'm not a fancy dresser or anything, but I usually come better than this. But my house is one of those that was red tagged. My house, the roof is gone. My wife is there struggling now because the red tag is an invitation to predators to come and take everything that you have that's there. But we see this community coming together. But people who've been in these meetings enough know that I've always said about St. Louis that it reminds me so much of Africa. Closer to any place outside of Africa that I've been to that reminds me so much of Africa. I was in my 60s before I first went home to Africa. And what struck me was I had spent such a long time in this country and then going to Africa, longing to be in Africa, hating to go to Africa initially because I was a part of the Black Revolution of the 1960s. And we had these revolutionary tourists, that's what I used to call them. They go to Africa like making the pilgrimage, what have you, and that became a signal of how significant they were. Didn't do anything except go there, right? And so I was reluctant to go before I had something I could offer. So it took me a long time before getting there. And what struck me more than anything, it took a while to understand what I was experiencing because I was saying that being in Africa for me was like being with your grandmother. I didn't quite know what that meant, except it dawned on me finally that for the first time in my life, when I was in Africa, I didn't feel like a stranger. And I had lived 60 some odd years and didn't know I felt like a stranger until I was home. When I was in Africa, our home, the magnificent Africa that produced this incredible, creative, and resilient people that's undergone everything that they have thrown at us, all the destruction that they have imposed on us. Africa, the attack on Africa was so great that at one time, Portugal alone almost had Africa surrounded with ships, kidnapping African people. Somebody said it wasn't just bodies, it wasn't just for labor. Labor was an important aspect of it, but they kidnapped technology as well. If you look at Uncle Ben's rice, you look at any rice that's in this country, Africa, they kidnapped Africans, particularly in that area that they now call Sierra Leone, because we were the ones who were able to do this magic with rice, growing rice, and that's where we grew rice all over the Carolinas and other places in this country. Africans did that. They were kidnapping technology as well. And so I just think that it's really important for us to understand the genius of Africa, the assault they made on Africa, the fact that we are still here. I mean, it's incredible. And the fact that we are here makes a statement about who we are. To have undergone all of this. I don't know another people who could have endured what we have endured and still be here. But not just be here like we see in St. Louis, singing and dancing and celebrating our unity and celebrating life and looking forward. Looking forward. That's the thing that's happened with us. So I want to say that African Liberation Day, Kwame Nkrumah said a lot about African Liberation Day and how we came to this thing. Why do we talk about African Liberation? African Liberation Day. People used to say to us all the time, Africa is not a country, it's a continent with a lot of countries. The fact is, the borders in Africa were created by white people. They're the ones who created that border. They sat down in Berlin, Germany, 1884 and 85 and drew those borders and shared out parts of Africa among themselves to exploit, to steal resources from. And then they said, now we are not a country, we're some continent. They said we are 54 countries. And they would have us think like that. Because that's another assault that's being made on the unity of African people. Even our consciousness borders all around them. So we can't separate and say, well, you're not an African. You weren't born in Africa. Heard what did Nkrumah say? You're born on a ship, that doesn't make you a what?
Fish or canoe.
A fish or a canoe. And there's an old saying in Africa that you can go to the forest and cut down a tree, and you can drag that tree to the river. You can leave it there for 100 years. It will never become a crocodile. It was a tree when it was put there. 100 years ago, it's still a tree. You can't get on a boat in Africa as an African in 1619 and get off the same boat as Negro. If we were Africans when we got on the damn boat, we were Africans when we got off the boat. You understand? And you don't even have to go to school to learn that. You have to go to school to unlearn that. We are African people. We are one Africa, one nation of people that has been forcibly dispersed at gunpoint. They like to talk about this country as being something like they refer to it as a nation of immigrants. And which is a convenient conversation. All the liberals like to say we are immigrants, and Trump is kicking out everybody. We're all immigrants, they say. But the fact of the matter is, Africans here are not immigrants. We are captives. We came here at gunpoint as captives. We didn't come here looking for a better way of life. We lost a better way of life as a consequence of having been brought here. And it's important for us to understand that our children must understand this. We must understand this. And the fact of the matter is, America is not a nation. It's a prison of nations. And the fact is, part of what constitutes a nation is a people who are connected by an economy, among other things, but also a sense of sameness. A sense of sameness. And if you look at black people, you don't even have to know. You can talk about, I ain't no African, but you have a sense of sameness with that person you see. There's something about Africans that connects us together. Yeah. I was in Berlin, Germany, at a meeting that we had called with African people, building an international process of having a tribunal, international tribunal for reparations to black people from around the world. We held the first, that is the African People's Socialist Party, organized the first tribunal in the world on reparations for African people in this country. We did that. We did it for 12 succeeding years. We did it in 1982 right there in Brooklyn, New York, with a panel of international judges. Because we want to be paid. And it's not just like we're looking just for money, but we're looking for resources that have been stolen. We're looking for our birthright. Everything you see here is born as a consequence of African labor on indigenous land. You don't even see the indigenous people. You don't see them. You walk down the streets every day and they've been disappeared. Like they would disappear us. And part of the process of disappearing us is the naming Jones and the naming Martin and to name me all these other things that separate me from my Africa, from your Africa. But Africa is the birthright of every living black person on the planet Earth, every living and all that will be born after us. It's our birthright. And we would be seduced into fighting for welfare in America as opposed to the resources that really belong to us. 12 million square miles of natural resources. That's Africa. The war that's threatening the world today is based on the resources in Africa. And if, in fact, Africa were to disappear, it would disappear. All of the modern economy of the world is based on, reliant upon the resources from Africa today. And we don't possess them. We don't control them. Somebody else possesses and controls them. So I just want to say that the African Liberation Day was a really important thing that happened. We talked about 1963. That was the year in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, that a group of different African forces came to have this meeting. This meeting was not simply some kind of, how did you characterize it? It was not just some kind of, how do you characterize it? Compromise. What happened was Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of Ghana, of independent Ghana, had begun to work a long time ago to unite Africa, to take all our resources. And Nkrumah, of course, was there in what they call the Gold Coast. Why did they call it the Gold Coast? Because they were stealing all the gold from there, all that gold that was there. This is the basis of them going there. There's a place called Cameroon. Why do they call it Cameroon? Because when the Portuguese got there, they found a lot of shrimp, and Cameroon is from the from the Portuguese word for shrimp. And that takes me to this other question of false national consciousness. Because you got a lot of Africans who run around calling themselves Cameroonians, but they are not shrimp. Any more than I am an African American. Any more than you are an African American. We are Africans. There are Africans in this place they call Cameroon as well. So this is the part of the assault that they made on us. But this is the part of the process that we know as colonialism. And I want you to understand this question. Because people would tell us that we are fighting against racism. And racism, of course, that's the ideas in the heads of white people. These are their notions. It doesn't. How do you win the victory against racism? How do you know when you won? Does somebody come out and wave a white flag and say we surrender this, do a peace treaty or anything like that? No. Racism is an idea. It's a concept. It's an ideology. It's the ideological foundation of colonialism. What is colonialism? Colonialism is the process of a foreign and alien power. A foreign and alien power taking away your resources and building their lives at your expense. We live under colonialism right now. It's clear the indigenous people do. Foreigners came here, stole their land, committed near genocide against them. They right now have a lifespan that's someplace in the 50s. But that's more even than what you have in Sierra Leone, where there's a lifespan in the 30s and what have you, where the average lifespan is in the 30s, where the majority of the most magnificent diamonds in the world come from Sierra Leone. But the majority of the people in Sierra Leone have never seen a finished diamond. You can go to your mall locally here and the jewelry store and you find diamonds. They don't see diamonds there. They see this rough thing that they pull out. Because this is a parasitic relationship. When this foreign and alien power comes, takes your land, takes your resources, and does everything it can to disappear you, so that you no longer exist. And in the case of the indigenous people, because what you talk about is America is a settler colony. Let's say white people came from someplace else, and they settled here to steal the land of the people, to steal the resources of the people, etc. Why would white people come here to do that? Well, they have created a myth that talks about that it was the white man's burden. Say we didn't really want to do it, but we just had to do it because we had a surplus of civilization and Christianity, and we had to share it with somebody, with savages. And so this is what they put forth as the basis for coming to this land right here. It is a part of the ideological fabric of this country right here. It's every time the colonizer attacks you, it's not attacking you, it's come to help you. They help the savages here. They're bringing in Christianity. They're bringing them civilization and what have you. That's the line that they put forward. And they almost disappeared the entire people here. They look at the Americas, the Arawak, and the indigenous people who were there when Columbus when Columbus came here and attacked the people in the islands and what is called Haiti today and what have you. You don't even find existing people there anymore who were the indigenous people. You can't find them. You can't locate them. And you had similar things happening throughout the Americas. And in this instance, they came and they settled here. And they disappeared the indigenous people. And one way they do that, by the way, and they disappeared us. There's a man named Walter Rodney. Can I see the hands of people who are familiar with Walter Rodney? Yeah. There's a man named Walter Rodney. He was an extraordinary revolutionary. He was born in Guyana, but he's going all over the African world, bringing political education, wrote extraordinary historical books around our conditions and how to move forward. And he talked about having gone to, what's this, the Library of Congress, is it? What's this amazing, the main library that they brag about here in this country? Is that? Yeah, and he talked about having gone there. And he looked around and looked for Europeans. And he could find Europeans in Europe, and he could find Europeans in Canada, and he could find Europeans in what we call America. He could find Europeans in Australia, New Zealand, all those places. Then he looked for Africans. And the only place he could find Africans was in Africa. You see? So they kidnapped us and then we disappear. We no longer exist anywhere. They create us in their own image. They gave us a name. They gave us a lot of names. And then they gave us a hyphen when we began to get suspicious about that. When we began to start struggling against this, saying that we are African people, they gave us a hyphen because they couldn't stop it. They used the Jackal, Jesse Jackal. He had a meeting with a lot of people. I forgot the numbers of someone from different so-called Negro leaders, and they had a meeting that came out, said from now on, say we will be we talk about we are African Americans. Anybody remember that meeting? Jesse, they had a press conference. Yeah, back in the 80s, and Jackson said we are now African Americans. Now, how the hell does that work? I don't ever hear of, when they talk about white people, they don't talk about white Americans, they say white. They say Americans. But we are African Americans. They gave that same hyphen to the indigenous people, American Indians. And they talk about every now and then you will read something, they say they discovered, they dug up some grave, and they found that the first Americans 2,000 years ago, was no American 2,000 years ago. That's just new invention. Even the concept of America is new. It's something that they created to define themselves. There was no such thing even as Europe. Before they attacked African people. Before this, you just had a land of warring tribes, constantly at war with each other, who'd identify themselves primarily in relationship to each other. So you had different groups of what we now call white people, who were constantly in struggle with each other. But there was no Europe. And what happened was when they began the trade in black people, when they captured black people, attacked us, they created for the first time in human history a world economy. That world economy was born through the enslavement and trafficking of black people all around the world, and then they created colonies all around the world from that beginning. And so now it's no longer a group of people who identifying themselves primarily in relationship to each other. They come together collectively because their whole collective economy is based on that, and they identify themselves primarily in relationship to us. And so they become the white people, we become the black people. They define themselves as Europeans now. This is where it comes from. The only reason I'm going through this is for you to recognize the centrality of your existence on this earth. And the existing social system wouldn't be this social system. And I want to say that we define this system as a mode of production. It is a colonial mode of production. It is a way that human beings on this planet Earth today are locked into economic activity, centralized around parasitism, around colonialism. It is this parasitic relationship that holds the whole world together now. But we see what happens when Africa moves. And so our sister here was talking about Africa, Sister Fofi, and Sister Makeda talking about Africa, and how easy it is now for people to hear us talk about Africa. Why? Because Africa is on the move, and it can be seen Africa is on the move. And this whole notion of African people just being wards of white power, wards of white people, is being cast aside, and Africans are being able to be proud of what they think they're looking at in the Sahel. It's a new day. We have to move. And I want to just say this finally. We had this incident here in St. Louis, a tornado. It was devastating in terms of impact. A lot of people around the country and around the world heard something about St. Louis. And they talked about it's going to take at least $1 billion to repair what was damaged here in St. Louis. And so there are people who are sympathetic. But what people don't know and understand, even some people in St. Louis, is that that tornado was concentrated in the black community. That tornado was concentrated. It's one thing when you hear St. Louis got hit by a tornado, but it's another thing when you know the tornado hit the black community of St. Louis. You hear and understand that differently. And that's why they work very hard to make it not be able to say that black people got hit by a tornado. We came here, I did, to St. Louis because the heroic activities of African people here. We moved our international headquarters to St. Louis, moved it from Florida, where we also have economic institutions and the like. And we did it after this magnificent uprising of African people in 2014 after they murdered that young boy, Mike Brown, on Canfield Drive. And that's the thing that brought us into St. Louis. We came to St. Louis because we saw this uprising, and the people rose up and maintained a struggle before Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton could get here. And quiet it down, subdue it, etc. And the people rose up, and their chant was not hands up, don't shoot. That's not what they were saying. They were not saying Black Lives Matter. They were saying kill the police. That was the chant that they had in the newspaper that I read in Florida. Said got to get to St. Louis. Got to get to St. Louis. Haven't heard that since Off the Pigs in the 1960s when the Black Panther Party had risen, and young African people, workers just like the ones on Canfield Drive, had built a powerful movement for our liberation. Wasn't trying to fight against racism. How do you win that fight? The fight against racism put white people in the center. So that you're always trying to either be like white people, please white people, or something to that effect. But colonialism, that's a powerful entity that has political and economic characteristics that can be easily identified, and you can see it happening all over the world. That's what Palestine is about. That's why they kill the people of Palestine, and they try to disappear them. Say that they're not Palestinians, they call it Israel. There's no such thing as Israel. I'm not talking about your biblical stuff. I'm talking about Israel that, as we know it today, had nothing to do with religion and Bible. Palestinian people who were there. Colonialism. Indigenous people, they live under colonial domination. We live under colonial domination. That is the physical, practical basis for the unity between all the colonized peoples around the world. And once the people come to understand that we're looking at a colonial mode of production, not just something that happens to black people, but everybody who lives in the world experiences the colonial mode of production. Everybody does. And white people who have been stupefied but this whole nonsense, this whole ridiculous concept of superiority of white people over everybody else in the damn world. If it was so superior, we need a gun to control everybody. Understand? And the truth of the matter, of course, is that we were building pyramids in Africa before white people mastered fire. That's the reality. Before they mastered fire, Africans were building pyramids. And I'm saying this, this is not a bit of racial braggadocio. I'm saying this because I have to deal with what has happened to our people, the brains of black people who've been battered so badly And they show the evidence of white people with guns controlling us as evidence of their superiority. And if you say anything that disagrees with them, they'll shoot you. Or they'll do like they have done to me most recently when they came to my house at 5 o'clock in the morning, pre-dawn, with tanks, with the flashbang grenades, cordon off the entire community, and said that the work that we were doing here in St. Louis and other places around the world, the Russians paid for us to do this. They charged me with being a Russian agent because we were talking about reparations, because we have transformed this corridor, the West Forest, and you've seen it, corridor. The economic development that we brought here, $160,000 basketball court we built there, not the government. They said the Russians are responsible for this. Because we say reparations, said the Russians are responsible for this, which is nonsense, of course, but they do this because they would deny African people any agency, and they don't want us to say anything. Say, shut up, nigga. Shut up. And they tell every other African, this is what will happen to you. That's what they did with Mike Brown when they killed Mike Brown and left him on the 100-degree plus pavement on Canfield Drive for 4.5 hours. There was a testimony, a statement they was making to the black community. This is what we'll do to you. 4.5 hours they had him there. So they had to terrorize us, but we don't do that no more. We don't play that no more. And so we are still here. African Liberation Day is really important. And Nkrumah had done such incredible work, as Comrade Kuumba mentioned, that Nkrumah led a movement that was based on nonviolence. And what did they call that campaign?
Positive action.
Positive Action Campaign. And the British, who was the colonizer, England controlled 1/4 of the world's population. Little tiny rock, cold, barren, hungry. England controlled 1/4 of the world's population, 1/4 of the world's territory. England did that, right? And then what happened was that in the late 1940s, a remarkable struggle broke out in Kenya. The slogan, what was the slogan? Uhuru. Uhuru. It was the Kenyan Land and Freedom Army, the Mau Mau. And they fought the British Empire to a standstill for so many years. And because of this, the British had to make some deals, they felt like, with other colonized people. That's one of the things that affected the ability of Nkrumah to get it. They didn't think Nkrumah was going to win that election, by the way, that they forced it, and Nkrumah won that election. And the Mau Mau, they didn't want to see more Mau Maus. So they don't. And this is one of the contradictions that they were dealing with. But the African Liberation Day movement, African Liberation Day mobilization happened. The first African Liberation Day action happened actually in 1972. And it was a man whose name had been Howard Fuller, and he changed his name. He was in Mozambique, which was colonized by the Portuguese. Everybody's got a piece of us, by the Portuguese. And they were involved in armed struggle. And this comrade went with them, and he asked them what could he do in this country. And they told him to come back to the United States and to build African Liberation Day. And Nkrumah, as we said, had initiated this whole process of uniting Africa. And the colonizers, seeing Nkrumah, what Nkrumah did, they facilitated this OAU meeting that happened in May 1963 to head Nkrumah off. Because Nkrumah was saying all the borders have to go. The borders he said they have to go. And he made a speech. And anybody who really want to understand what ALD is all about and what Nkrumah was trying to do, Google the speech by Kwame Nkrumah in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, on May 24th, 1963. And he warned them, the Africans, that if they left there, if you leave here without having a united Africa, without tearing these borders down, without building a common economy, without building a common military, without building a common political organization, that what you will see is coup after coup after coup. You will see the advent of neo-colonialism controlling our Africa and our people. That's what Nkrumah said. And they wanted to make sure that Nkrumah did not succeed. So they put forth all kinds. They had white people walking the halls in this meeting in Addis Ababa with suitcases full of money. They bribed people. They got them to do something alternatively to what Nkrumah was talking about doing. And everything that he predicted, read it. Go and look at the speech he made. Everything that he predicted would occur did occur. And so that's really important for us to understand. So African people have to be free. And freedom is not some abstract concept. Freedom is not a good feeling. I was a part of the Black Power movement. And when we talk about black power, power is not an abstract concept. And the thing is that when you talk about freedom and black power, you're talking about the power to govern, to be a self-governing people. And we have to be opposed to anybody governing black people but ourselves. The future of our children, our family, our people has to be in our hands. Yes. And if we don't do what's necessary to make that happen, then we'll suffer more and more of this kind of stuff, and we'll suffer the same kinds of things we're having with a tornado that does such devastation because of policies established by this government that led to the deterioration of the infrastructure. A policy, not just an accident, a policy of Team 4, Google Team 4 in St. Louis, and you'll see that there was a policy, they call it benign neglect. Let it rot was the policy for St. Louis. So the black community would deteriorate and nothing would be here. So even now you walk around trying to take pictures of the damage of the tornado, you have to be clear what happened before the tornado and what already existed. Because if you don't know, you could look at things that's been there for a while because that's what they've done. And they came to put me in prison for 15 years. Because of the economic development that we are pulling African people together, become self-reliant, not reliant on them for anything. And that's the basis of this attack on us. So I just want to say that we have to, it's not an act of God or an act of nature that's responsible for this situation that we had in St. Louis. We've got a lot of good people, good white people included, marching through, being as helpful as they can be. And I want them to march through and be helpful, but I don't want us to be confused about what we're looking at. And I want them to do what they can do. They should do it. But I shall not be on my belly kissing feet or kissing rings or kissing other parts of people's bodies because of that. Because they've lived off us. Because on the south of the Del Mar, the food that's not in your refrigerator for your children is in their refrigerator for their children. That's your baby's food. And we recognize that. We are fighting against colonialism. I don't want them just to say they're helping me for some situation because the roof came off. Hell, No, the thing is that we have to change. They say, well, we're going to make St. Louis like it was. I said, what the hell are you talking about? Like it was? Are you crazy? We don't want it like it was. We want repairing all the damage that was done even before this tornado came through here. So African Liberation Day is what it's all about. One Africa. One nation. One nation. One Africa. Israel to. Africa. Uhuru.
Uhuru, comrades! Uhuru. This is not the only time we would like to see you in here.
No.
Every Sunday, 3 to 5 p.m., we are right here educating the community. Get the education, take it out to your community and bring somebody else back with you so we can join and become one unit of people. We were in Africa, in this continent, before we got dispersed around the world. I am a stolen African woman born on stolen indigenous land, and my children and my children's children are being attacked today after over 600 years. We got to have liberation. We got to, without any pause, we got to have liberation. I was sent a message that our comrades in San Diego is watching this ALD live. Uhuru comrades in San Diego. Yes. And we have, let me see, we have ALD being celebrated. It was celebrated in Chicago, St. Petersburg, Florida, Philly, San Diego, London, Sierra Leone, South Africa, and St. Louis. Uhuru! I've got a poet that is on a time crunch. And let me tell you, I am not going to miss this poet.
Well,
I am not. We think we had a tornado? Let me tell you. Okay. St. Louis native, award-winning poet whose aura demands respect. Just like the tornado, comrades, I bring you Poet Lightning. Woo! Yeah, Poet Lightning.
My aura demands respect.
Yes.
The way I walk, the way I talk, the way I style my hair. When I step on the scene, you can't help but stare. Check out my curvaceous hips. My body be bootylicious. The confidence I exude ignites my attitude. So I walk with my head high and spine erect. I am a bombshell diva, fully equipped. It doesn't matter what society portrays to be the ideal frame. Trying to live according to other people's standards is insane. For all my plus size sisters with low self-esteem, love yourself, because you too are a queen. Your insatiable essence and voluptuous physique is just more to love. And remember, thickness makes some weak. I am lightning. And so poetry is what I be writing. What's up, y'all? Everybody screaming, stay woke. Well, that's easy to do when you can't sleep. Can't sleep because your race is an endangered species being treated like feces. And lives that truly matter are dealing with police brutalities, mistaken identities, senseless fatalities. Used to be you did the crime, you did the time. Now it's unfair decisions, unequal sentences, and just us going to prison. Humanity no longer exists. The generational curse has been reactivated with a twist. Number 45 woke them all up. No more in God we trust. Don't need a reason to kill, just stand your ground and we'll cover it up. Black men are being lynched. Still no clean water in Flint. Women are disappearing at an alarming rate. Sex trafficking of body parts is what our minds formulate. Can't know for sure since they don't investigate. No heart or compassion, just hate. Racism used to be more prevalent in the southern states. Now it's worse than Hurricane Katrina floodgates that were unable to hold that water. Innocent people being slaughtered. Dare not voice your opinion by protesting. That's considered resisting. No more freedom of speech. No more big mamas to teach. Our youth can't be reached. The economy is weak. No more villages to raise our babies. When the family has a weak link, not my problem, it doesn't affect me. Stay woke. Yeah, that's easy to do when you can't sleep. Can't sleep because you're wondering what you're going to eat. Or even if you'll be alive next week. No answers to the prayers we speak. No solution to the problems we seek. Folks giving up on life, accepting defeat. Domestic violence has sisters living in silence, afraid to face their fears. Tolerating physical and mental abuse for years. Nobody is paying attention to the warning signs. Real eyes, real lies, real lies. But everybody stay woke. Nobody is policing the streets, but everybody stay woke. Folks won't even get out and go vote. But everybody stay woke. Every day on social media, my timeline reads about another life taken, how politicians be faking, and drugs in our community is the cause. But we, the people, are supposed to stay woke and not be appalled? How can you stay woke when your eyes are closed? It's a shame nowadays we can't go outside, because everywhere you go it ain't nothing but crime. People dying on the street, no food to eat, without a home, no money. Life's incomplete. It's a shame. You can't tell who did it, who committed the crime. Even though you saw him with it, they'll say you lying. The next thing you know, a knocker's at your door with a pistol in his hand. You ain't ready to go. It's a shame.
Well,
Dr. King tried to get everybody involved, but at the rate we're going, can't nothing be solved. White hating black and black hating too. It's a disgrace to this world. Soon we all will be through. It's a shame. Back in the day, families would come together. Be your strength through life's endeavors. Now we have babies having babies. When you ask who's the baby's father, we get, I think, maybe. No longer do we have tribes of unity keeping us strong. It has become socially acceptable to raise a child alone. Our daughters aren't young ladies. Instead, they abuse their bodies, grow up fast, get in relationships that don't last, constantly repeating the curse of our past. There were generations of molestations, helpless children having to watch the mother or father free basing. No one ever having time for the conversation, only interested in the life they continue wasting. I can see clearly now that in 2025 ain't nothing changed. Still today we continue to see someone to blame for why we haven't changed. We go through trials and tribulations to prepare ourselves for situations. A mistake is a reflection of the decisions you've been making. So why continue to make the same mistake? My people, we must awake. Thank you.
Didn't I say I was going to bring the elements? All right, lightning, Uhuru. Okay, now what we're going to do is where everybody can get involved, where everybody can get a piece of the action.
well,
Because you know what? We are in International People Democratic Uhuru Movement is around the world. And we support our brothers and sisters. Let me get that straight. Our brothers and sisters in South Africa. We have people in England. We have the islands. We are all over the United States. And also, I'm just telling you this because we're going to ask you for our goal. Our resource goal today is $300. And comrades out in San Diego and everywhere else that you're watching us, we want to have you to go to Cash App, InPDUM, or InPDUM.org/donate. We'll take cash, check, money order, but dollars are good too. We have a $300 goal. And if anyone has $300 and we can keep this show rolling, then just let us know who you are and we can call it a day. But we are really here because we reach the community. This is not just a one-time event. We do this every Sunday, 3 to 5. Every Sunday. We should be packed. People should be trying to get in here with standing room only, because the gold nuggets that the chairman just put out, you cannot get everywhere unless you're on Facebook or the chairman's page or AfricanPeopleSocialistParty.org. You know what? We have young people. The basket.
No, check up.
We have young. Okay. There are many things that we want to do. There are many things that we have to do. And there are many things that the recovery that people are getting out doing now, we've been doing it for the past 11 years here in St. Louis. Just here in St. Louis. We are all over doing the same thing. So, if you want to be a part of this organization, you can start on the ground level, or you can start on the middle level, or you can go all the way up to the top. But whatever level you join, InPDUM, International People Democratic Uhuru Movement, any level you join, you have the same amount of power as somebody on the top level or somebody that's been in here 11 years like myself. I'm sorry, I took it over, didn't I?
Well, struck by that lightning.
Yeah, I did. I got struck by lightning, okay? Like I said, our goal is 300, and that is to, you see the flyers we have?
Some raffles, though.
Yeah. The flyers we have that we give out, you see the posters we put out. The money goes back in the community, okay? Goes back in the community. And right now, the community has a lot going on. And the more we can get out, the better we can. But you know what? You can hit a person with your finger and nothing to happen but a broken finger. But if you ball that fist up, somebody's going to be getting up off the floor. So let's make a force with the fist and unite to make this thing happen. We got, look, I don't know how much I have to say to let you know that liberation is the only thing that you can look in your mirror, and when you see yourself, you're not free. You're not free. Because if you were free and we were united, like we went around and people were going to each community to help rebuild and repair, remove trees and fix broken windows, that would be an everyday thing, because we take care of ourselves. We take care of ourselves. So, comrades, we got to unite. That's the best thing I can say. And through this celebration, this is a celebration, even in the wake of the horror that we're dealing with, we can still smile. Yes. We can cry and find a joke to make somebody feel better, and it'll make you feel better too. Just a smile. You would be I just had a funny thought, but I don't know if it's funny. Especially I found my smile at 40 years old. Because before that time, I would smile like this. Closed mouth. Because my teeth were not straight. They were doing like this. You know, like. And I would just smile. My baby daughter, was 16 years old when she realized that she and I had the same smile. I had dental work done. And since then, I can't stop smiling. When you feel good, you smile. When you don't feel well, you smile. Because what it'll do, it'll change that attitude within, and other people can see it. It makes a light around you, and then you just throw it out. Because you know what? All we got is each other. And when Chairman said about that tornado was targeted in the black community, have you noticed since they started building the NGA in our backyard, that every summer we have a couple of bad windstorms that really blow out our lights, keep them out 3-4 weeks. A couple of years ago, that so-called, they call it a bad wind, a storm. It was really a tornado that we were over at O'Fallon Park, and it blew everything. It uprooted trees, but nobody got any funding because it was called a storm. Yet it was many blocks in this area that had no gas, had no lights. People were trying to get water. This was like 2 years ago. Ever since that NGA has been there, we've been the ones targeted with the weather. Now, you know, they can't say the finger of God. I don't believe that. I don't believe that black people have been targeted by the finger of God unless he's got blonde hair and blue eyes and sits somewhere with his finger on a pulse or something that causes swirling movements in the air. Okay, it's a conspiracy theory, but you know what? If I look hard enough, I bet I can find evidence. All right. Now, $300 is what our goal is, and you want to say something?
Yeah, I just got some raffles to go off.
Okay, we got some raffles, and then before we leave, I'll let you know exactly where I go if we made our goal. All right. Come on.
All right, Uhuru. Touch one.
Touch all.
Touch one.
Touch all.
One Africa.
One nation.
One nation.
One Africa.
All right, all right. All right, so the next, I'm going to do 4 right quick. In the last 3 ending in 013. And, pardon me, 012. 012. And you can pick your constellation gift up off to the left. All right. Yeah, well, it's soft and cuddly. And then the next one is 014. 014. Last 3. Well, what you said? Go on and get you a teddy bear. All right, and 017 is the next one. 017, we got another winner right there on the 3rd row. Pick that prize up to the left on the table. You got your choice. And 040. 040. Look at your tickets. All right, it's all the way in the back. Come on up and get your prize. Yay!
All right. All right, comrades. Where is it going? Is Denisha in the house? Okay. Well, you know what, while I'm sitting here looking at this, and we counting and collecting money, and people are getting their prizes, I'm going to go in and do a piece. Okay. Come on.
May I make an announcement while you're pulling it?
Yes, sir. Come on up.
I just wanted to make an announcement that on the 27th, is that Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday.
On Tuesday at 1 p.m., we're going to be doing a press conference here. The press conference is going to respond to what has happened to our community with this tornado and the flimsy kinds of excuses that's being passed on to us. A mayor who wants to cry on press conferences and transfer, like the empathy that people should be having for those of us who got hit by this thing. So now we have to feel bad for her. So she's crying and she's lying. And so we tell her to stop crying, stop lying. And we want to, you can't say oops because somebody forgot to press the button. People died. And we have to hold them accountable for that. And we want to put forth from our community a common collective kind of voice in terms of what remedies that we're looking for now. It's not going to be good enough for them to say that it's going to take $1 billion to repair this, but they might have $30 million. And it's not going to be good enough for them to say that we want to bring St. Louis back to what it was. There's so much that they have to do, they must do. And the families of those people who died, I mean, because the button wasn't pushed. And a sister who was in the church, and when the button, was finally worn and she was on her way trying to get to the basement, couldn't make it. And there were others like that. So I think that we have to, as a community, require more than just say, I'm sorry, it was a bad mistake, a human error. And then they'll think the person who was supposedly responsible for the button got a 2-week paid vacation, so that's not good enough. So we're going to be having a press conference. I'm hoping that everybody here and can participate in that press conference. And if there are people who are willing to do some of the kind of work necessary to make the press conference a success, you can notify comrade in the back and, be here if you can. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Words of power. Is Alicia in the building? Miss Alicia? Okay. Stolen people. I want to talk about the stolen people. See, I'm a stolen African woman born on stolen indigenous land, and my stolen family roots and connections to Africa. Our dignity, pride, and traditions, along with our customs, practices, and medical cures, our skills, beliefs, and riches have been tainted. General humanity challenged and lives ripped away. Melanin makes us African, regardless to where we were born. Omali Yeshitela taught me we would not be here if they had not come there. He taught me about the colonial mode of production, a dependent relationship to keep Africa drained and the colonizers rich. To change this relationship is to free Africa and its people, and I'm one of them. To be self-governed and self-reliant. Free speech was not meant for stolen people. They proved that when they attacked our organization. It's against the law for stolen people to be free. Colonialism is the cause, but revolution is the cure. I'm a stolen African woman born on stolen indigenous land, and my DNA is continuously under siege everywhere we exist. And see, Uhuru is Swahili for freedom. Sasa means now. Uhuru,
Sasa.
Uhuru,
Sasa.
we'll take no less. Uhuru. And now, comrades, I'm going to bring this other element up, other poetic element up here. That's not it. one of St. Louis poets that tells raw stories of the black community. Truth. Conrad, Abby the Truth. Poet.
Tell the truth.
Nothing
All
but.
right.
Is this it?
Yeah, either one.
Uhuru, everybody.
Uhuru.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? Yeah. All right, y'all. Let me give y'all 2 pieces real quick. Is that cool? Everybody say cool. Cool. Hey, we're living in a day and age now. It's 2025. Anything you want to know, they so brazen with what they do now. They put it right in your face. So this so-called storm. That wasn't no storm. The arch itself, the architect or the arch, German architect, that actually that's actually a weather weapon. That's a weather weapon. Go to your phones, Google it, find out. They got the government, the United States government, they got weather weapons left and right. They can take a storm, move it left, right, this way, that way. It's no conspiracy theory. Just do y'all research, you'll see. So I actually think this what this was. This ain't got nothing to do with no weather. So with that being said, let me get these 2 pieces out of here. I'm a black man first, but I'm last on the list. I ain't gonna do that first. Let me see what I want. I'm a black man. Born in this land, I've been ostracized, brutalized. As I sit here and fantasize, I'm waiting on my oppressor to apologize. I've come to realize, man, they ain't gonna never sympathize with us. And that's cool. See, they think food stamps and education is our 40 acres and a mule. So I've decided to improvise. Get a couple of brothers and sisters together, organize, strategize. But let me emphasize, in order for us to capitalize, we must first go in our own neighborhoods and black businesses, not vandalize, but patronize. Minimize our homicides, because genocide and suicide. That way we have more brothers and sisters in institutes than being institutionalized. These are just some things I see through my eyes. This poem here is no joke. It might be the realest poem I've ever wrote. Even though we criticize, white cops killing unarmed black boys have multiplied. If this doesn't get rectified, it's going to be a revolution.
Well,
Yeah.
And it won't be televised.
well.
So what I would advise, before you brothers and sisters walk out the door, peep game, you should know that a hoe with a gun, that's the same thing as a cop that's gun ho. Listen, if you got melanin in your skin, you fit the description. I'm not trying to be rude, but a black man or a black woman say they know their constitutional rights, you're a damn fool. The Constitution was wrote for whites by whites. You ain't got no rights. You fighting an uphill battle. When they wrote that shit, they was comparing black folks to livestock and cattle. Look, I'm just trying to put you brothers and sisters up on game. Society wants to keep you dumb. How you gonna know where I'm at if you ain't been where I've been? Now somebody in this room tell me where I'm coming from. This poem is no joke. It might be the realest poem I've ever spoke. I'm in total disgust. Man, America don't love us. This is a natural fact that this country right here was built on a black man and a black woman's back. Yet I must come to embrace a country that holds a legacy of disgrace. With foreigners in my own community, I gotta run a frantic race just to fight for crumbs that's left on the white man's plate. This poem is no joke. Might be the realest poem I've ever spoke. True.
Well.
Yeah, one more. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. I'm a black man first, but I'm last on the list. So I'm finna climb the ropes they hung my ancestors with. Being a black man back in the slave days, man, I couldn't conceive. All that strange fruit was hanging from trees. And this one they considered America beautiful? Negro, please. Alligator bait and white folks picnics. Master, we sick, but ain't nobody been diagnosed. All that pride and dignity we left in the bottom of those slave boats, led astray, run amok, and then they have the audacity to wonder why us keep killing us. The writing's on the wall, and I ain't talking about graffiti. If it's justice for us all, then why don't nobody want to be me? To understand what I'm talking about, you got to be me. 400 years denied knowledge of sin. Knowledge is wisdom, so I had my tooth put back in. I'm on a plight to get a couple of young brothers together and unite. Mission impossible, but you can't stop it. I got 13 chapters of the Bible written in my pocket. Lethal. I'm distributing it to my people. God said, fear no man but he. So why they fearing me? You got to hang me till I'm dead. They'd rather I pledge allegiance instead. A hand over my heart than a fist over my head. No pause. I won't stop. I'm Malcolm mixed with a little Tupac. On 10, writing with a field nigga's pen. With a bunch of young Conrads ready to stunt. The only march these brothers talking about is the month. Forgive and forget, I can't get used to. How many black queens gotta die just to rebuke you? In the name of justice, they killing just us and calling it just us. Is anybody listening? I'm talking to y'all. They got them new Jordans out and brothers and sisters lined up at the mall. Is it just me? Can't you tell? Man, we'll never have a revolution. First, we must rebel. History is sad. Skin of bronze, hair like wool. Jesus sounds like my dad. I've been had. I'm appalled. Who is this white man I've been worshiping on my grandmother's wall? I was blind, but now I see. I'm him. I had to introduce myself to me. They've been screaming, go back to Africa for so long, but yesterday GPS on my phone told me I'm finna help you find your way home. I'm a black man first, but I'm last on their list. So I'm gonna climb these ropes they hung my ancestors with. True.
Okay. You know, I didn't know if I would have any new pieces about what's been going on, because I've been told during my poetry life that if you're not writing poetry, you're living it. So I'm still living it, but I'm trying not to get angry, because I'm a poet by calling. I'm a nurse by career. So healing and helping is what I do, both with my words and the things that I do. When I saw the devastation in my neighborhoods, where I could always go find what I was looking for. You know, Chinese food, good Chinese food, you know where the good ones are. Best soda. You know, my kids don't live in St. Louis now, but when they come back to visit, they take them a care bag back. They start shopping. You know, my son's in Long Beach, and my daughter is in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Ohio now. My grandkids, they do the same thing. They come visit 20 and 25, they take them a care package too, and they didn't even live, they wasn't born here. So, but like your parents, you do things. This is gonna be off my dome, and I better record it so I can remember it so I can write it. I hear poetry with 2 feet on earth and 2 feet in spirit. So when it does come to the mic, it is 4 feet deep, because I can't think, well, I don't feel like I can think that deep, but evidently I guess I can. Come on. Recorder. the sun comes up, we make our day in our heads before we leave the house, or we see our day from habits that we do because we're taught to prepare. You don't know what you're going to prepare for. You don't know how you're going to prepare to do the things that are out of the ordinary, but we do it anyway. I have always been taught by my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mother, I was raised in the country, Southeast Missouri, for the first 12 years. To that, when you get up, you do what you have to do, and then you take care of family and home first. I guess that's why I became a nurse. No, that's not why I became a nurse. I became a nurse because I had gone to LPN school free on Uncle Sam's dime. And from there, I furthered myself to a BSN. Poetry hit me during the last year of my nursing because I was flirting with this guy telling me I wanted to learn how to play golf when I really didn't have no idea what golf was doing. He said, you have to find your passion. And I found that doing writing, doing those classes. See, college is more than an education in your head. It's an education for yourself because you get exposed to different things that will bring out the whole of you. You don't have to just go to college to do that. Life does that. Life will give you what you need and how to get there. And when I started doing poetry, I said, ooh, this is nice. But what I wrote about was love. All aspects of it. Physical, mental, desires. When Mike Brown was murdered, the air changed. I'm sensitive to energy. And I knew my curtain was calling. I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was to do it. I met Sonia Sanchez and she heard some of my stuff. She said, Sister Fofi, she was so gentle. Sister Fofi, you have a gift. And the world will listen to your words because you have something to say. I said, I'll take that. But I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that I would meet Chairman Omali Yeshitela and get questions I had asked myself that nobody else could breach the answer to. Why would my people in the same area, all around the world, anywhere you go, suffering the same way? Suffering the same way. Okay, what is the problem? Chairman gave me the answer, and it is not our problem. It's a problem that was placed upon us. And it's up to us to come together to get out of this mess. Let's dig out this hole. They said crabs in a barrel. Who put the crabs in the barrel? Okay? I still haven't written the piece right now because right now it's too fresh. But one thing I do know we didn't get here by ourselves, but it's going to take ourselves to get out of here. Wherever you are, the first thing black people do is take care of their family. Make sure they're breathing. Kids got a fever, you're going to give them something to take care of. You're going to tell them to sit down, but they keep going, because we don't stop. We don't stop. And we can't stop. DNA knows DNA, y'all. I went to Africa and the first thing I saw was these women with these on their head. And guess what? First time I knew I was at home. That was the first time. And they said, is that true? Everybody say that. That's because it's true. Why is it true? Because you're born here don't mean this is your home. This is where the people that you grew up with, people that look like you, but when you go somewhere else, anywhere in the world, you're going to find somebody that look like a cousin, somebody that look like an uncle, somebody that look like your mama, somebody that look just like you. I'm going to tell you, liberation is in the air. They think they started something by tearing up our houses. so they can get them cheap and remake the city? We come together. We're gonna be together. We're gonna be liberated together. Uhuru, Sasa. Now, I want to bring you this amazing young man. Let me pull it up. Okay. This young man, also known as Young Israel, is the president of the local St. Louis InPDUM branch, where he was born, here in St. Louis, where he was born and raised. Israel, who is a caring intellectual, grew up on the north side where he faced hardship, police brutality, and near-death experiences. Forced him to get politically educated, right here, as an organizer for 25 plus years, where he also performed just as long. So you can put your hands together for our comrade, the president of St. Louis local InPDUM, Comrade Young Israel.
Israel too. Uhuru. Man, it's so good to see y'all. You did. It's so good to see black folks come together. You know, especially loving on each other. But if you don't mind if I play a little song.
You got it there.
I don't know what's up with the audio, but can y'all hear the audio a little bit? Testing. I'll try to rap low then, since I can't really hear the audio. Okay. Forgive me, y'all. Imagine the day we can walk back. That's too low. Can y'all hear the beat? Because if y'all can't, I'll do an acapella. That was too low. That's good? Okay, we're going to try that again. See if this... Because I don't want to rap to you like I'm cool and stuff, like I'm suave. I want to put like emphasis in it. But if I put emphasis in it, I don't want to rap over the beat. So if I tend to rap over the beat, y'all going to excuse me. Forgive me. Okay. All right, y'all. Imagine a day we don't have to cry no more. Imagine a day we can walk down to the store without being killed or harassed by the po-po. Don't worry about it, our day coming real soon. Where we gonna be able to feed, house, and clothes. I know you're tired of living dirty poor. Colonial oppressive system must go. Reaching, leeching, all in your household. I know you're tired of this shit. That's why we demand they quit. Acapella with an iron fist. We got pissed, burned down Ferguson, but they still haven't gotten our hands. Cause they steady leaving us dead on this pavement. Here we steady give them chance after chance. Instead of blaming them, we blame our own kind. Why we hate our own kind? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Okay. It says all be over. Won't have to cry no more. What you said? Okay. Songs say, here we be all over. Songs say, we don't have to cry no more. To the masses of the people still going through, we need more tangibles than your metaphors. Madagascar, Somalia, all around the horn. One region is blessed, the other one is torn. Back here they sell babies out of mama arm. Sell them, get rich, sins in arms. Bombing indiscriminately, baby had no arms. Gaza, Syria, Lebanon. World fight for them, but what about us? When I mention Africa, they say, what the fuzz? Well, dig this G, the world will never have peace as long as Africa not free. Molly said, with your liberation now, don't leave it for the next generation. You dig it?
Well,
Appreciate your patience. Appreciate your patience. We shall win liberation in our lifetime. Israel too. Africa. Fist up. Fight back. Fist up. Fight back. Uhuru. Touch one. Touch all.
All right. Okay. We're winding down. We're winding down. Is Denisha in the house? Oh, there she is. Comrade. Let me bring her up. Come on up here, Denisha. This is Denisha Young, singer poet, St. Louis own. And she's going to do her intro.
I'm cool. How y'all doing?
You can hold it if you like.
Okay. Okay, Uhuru, I'm sorry. How we doing? I didn't know if I would come through for sure. I knew I was coming to enjoy. But Fofi told me that she might call me up, and I'm cool with that. And I'm glad to see all of your beautiful faces out here. I am a singer, songwriter here in the city. I had a song that I wanted to sing, and I guess I still will, but following my boy, I kind of want to give a little something that would go with what he was saying. I got a song that I did with my guy out in Ghana, and it's called Free. And so, yeah, I'll sing a bit of that first. Why can't we all be free? They wanna hinder me, keep me on my knees, but I get on my feet. No, I can't be beat. Why can't we all be free? They wanna hinder me, keep me on my knees, but I get on my feet. Oh no, I can't be beat. See, my blood comes from Africa. For 400 years I've been detached from her. Physically but spiritually I've been sought after her. Product of the diaspora. Yeah, they know what they do. Divide us and take our Jews. Want us to play by their rules. Teach us lies in their schools. They think we don't know what they do. Yeah, we see you. But I'm strong like a cider. Like y'all said, so why? Oh no, you don't hold the power. This gone on for long, and we ain't taking no more. No.
well.
Yeah, and then I got a song called Relax Your Mind. I sing a piece of that too. It's kind of on a different. I know we have been through a lot recently. And yeah, while we are fighting, and we definitely should, we have to take, moments sometimes to unwind and be like, this is a lot, we have to take that sometimes. So yeah, this song is called Relax Your Mind. Sometimes in this life, trying to make it is all that's on your mind. Try, you can't get it right. Wondering where you went wrong this time. Yeah. Sometimes life gets heavy. It feels like the load you can't bury. But who told you this life would be easy? Everything that happens, it just teach me. Sitting and waiting on the sunshine. things will get right back together. We gon' make it through by any kind of weather. So just sit back, relax your mind. Everything is gonna be alright. Cause things will get right back together. We gon' make it through by any kind of weather. So just sit back, relax your mind. Everything is gonna be alright.
All right.
Thank you, comrade. You know I was gonna keep checking on her because I couldn't let that voice get back. Okay. Comrades, we had a $300 total goal. We got $423. Give yourself a hand because you will see what we do. The money goes back in the community. All right, all up and down West Florissant, you'll see Uhuru signs, and that's us, but that is for all of us. It is for the community, okay? We are here for the community, and community is fighting back. Come back here on Tuesday for that press conference, yes. Now I'm going to bring up our last artist for this amazing celebration. Have you been celebrating? Yes. Okay, what are we celebrating? What do we want? Freedom. When do we want it? Now. Uhuru. Uhuru. Sasa. That's right. That's what we want. Okay. I want to thank my chairman, Omali Yeshatella. For all he does. Like 5 o'clock in the morning, they thought they were going to catch him sleeping. He was planning on moving and doing things. And I'm just as mad as I am about that tornado. I was speechless and so pissed off that we were attacked in the city that I went to school in, had my children in, and raised them. You know, it was like a slap in the face. So how dare they? How dare they? How the hell could they? But you know they did. They did. But what goes around comes around. Karma is a bitch. Okay? And it's only served best when it comes bingo like ice. Okay? And that means we won't serve it, but we sure gonna get our revenge and our justice. Our justice. Okay. Let me stop. This young lady she's come up here earlier and did an amazing job. She is one of our own homegrown. She and I were so far the only original St. Louis InPDUM members 11 years ago. And we stick it and stand until freedom is won. I'm bringing you Comrade Makeda Baraka.
I just want to say real quick, my sister back there is celebrating her birthday today. The lady in the glittery shirt back there, she said, when she said, "What y'all come to celebrate?" She said, "My birthday." But we do. She is one of the most inspirational people that I know, and really just another testament to, Black resilience, for real. In the face of a lot of adversity, there's a story for her. There's a story with her. So I celebrate you, my sister. I love you, and I appreciate you. Thank you for coming out and bringing my niece with you. Okay, so this next piece is a song that I wrote, and my eyes kind of be closed when I sing this song. So if you're so inclined to clap, snap, whatever, keep the beat, whatever. Yeah, it's a song that I feel more so than just, more so than anything. I feel it. And it's called Fight This War. We gon' fight this war, y'all. We gonna fight this war. We gon' fight this war, y'all. We gonna fight this war. We gon' strategize, yeah. Call the colonizer a surprise. Well, we gon' fight this war, y'all. We're gonna fight this war. We gon' give them hell, yes. We gonna give them hell. Sing it with me, we gon' give them hell, yeah. We gonna give them hell. Show 'em we ain't the only ones knows how to die by their guns. We gon' give them hell, yes. We're gonna give them hell. We gon' call our kin now. We're gonna call our kin. Everybody, we gon' call our kin now. We gonna call our kin. They might have left here a long time ago, but they still want us to win. We gon' call our kin now. We're gonna call our kin. We gon' do our part now. We gonna play our part. Tell your neighbor we gon' do our part this time. We gonna play our part. 'Cause we know how to do so many things. Let us do what we know, make victory ring. We gon' do our part this time. We gonna play our part. We gon' win this war, y'all. We gonna win this war. Gone and claim it, we gon' win this war this time. We gonna win this war. Oh, know the lines in the sand and it's time to choose. So pick your side, 'cause we can't lose. We gon' win this war this time. We're gonna win this war. I said we gon' win this war this time. We're gonna win this war. Thank you.
Okay. We're gonna do some more.
All right, we got a few more raffle tickets we're going to do right quick. Next one is 022. Uhuru and all our constellations over there. Next one is 023. That might have been me. 023. If it is me, I'm not going to worry about it. The next one is 026. 026. Check your ticket if you got a yellow ticket. And 043. 043. Oh, they might have left. Oh, is that what you waving back there? Oh, okay then. Come on over there and get you some.
Comrade, I am at the end of my list. The last thing I can tell you is, first of all, thank you for coming out celebrating ALD with us. 2025, but guess what? We're going to do it again in 26. And let's have Karamu, which means feast. All right? Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Jesse. Everybody. Uhuru. You did the damn thing. That's okay. See you next week, same time, same building. This is a reminder for the press conference Tuesday. What time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, right here.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Comrade. How are you?
Hanging in there anyhow.
I'm wondering, it would have been helpful if we could have asked if anybody here experienced the tornado in terms of, yeah, because it could be important for them to be at the press conference, even to be able to talk about it.
Excuse me, everybody. If anybody here experienced damage from the tornado, it would be real important for you to be here for this press conference Tuesday, 1 o'clock, right here, and pass the word.
You were splendid, sister. So, in Ghana, before you say you're located in ALD, why? When I go to the people you perform with. Okay, in the past, who are your cultural? You know what, actually, cultural. You mentioned that you were Okay. I know that in Ghana in particular, I can't remember the brother's name off the top, but it's been pretty influential. He's been cultural, but he's been at for many years.